before he tried to rush the throne. Lord, they threw him down in hell there all alone, and now he builds a castle out of the sinner's bones. You'd be angry too if you could never go home. Well, now I ain't no preacher man's son. I done some bad things, but I like to have my fun. 1,000 ways to heaven, 1,000 ways to hell. Well, I say the good Lord helps those that help themselves. So help yourselves now. Old man Nicodemus could not make his heart believe. He could see that Jesus had some tricks up his sleeve. He said, now, oh man, Jesus, I can't do things your way, but I could see you work for somebody big, so I'm back in your place. Old man Nicodemus, his pockets, they were deep. And on the day the Romans decided to put Jesus to sleep, Jesus could not care for money now or any such thing. Old Nicodemus paid to have Jesus just buried like a king. Well, now, I ain't no preacher man's son. I done some bad things, Lord, I like to have my fun. 1,000 ways to heaven, 1,000 ways to hell. Well, I say the good Lord helps those that help themselves. So help yourselves now. Our Father art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Told Noah build a boat on the driest of days, and everybody in the neighborhood said, oh, Noah was insane. I guess when the waters receded now, the truth was plain. Well, now, I ain't no preacher man's son. I done some bad things, Lord, I like to have my fun. There's 1,000 ways to heaven, 1,000 ways to hell. Well, I say the good Lord helps those that help themselves. So help yourselves now. Moses was a great man, part of the waters of the Red Sea. Down the road to Egypt, he made sure the slaves are free. Well, he could speak to God, so they say, yes indeed. Well, the noise of his voice would have made our poor ears bleed. Moses, he had an army, I tell you, all his own. They stood in circles outside his very home, and when the pharaohs got to killing, they left old Moses alone. But the Romans drove them nails through old Jesus' bones. Well, now, I ain't no preacher man's son. I done some bad things, Lord, I like to have my fun. Why they got Jesus now, not Moses? Who could tell? But they do say the good Lord helps those that help themselves. So help yourselves now.
Alright, what is up everyone, or Crooked Tuna? Hope you're doing well, man. Been a while. Yeah, this is very unexpected. I didn't really have anything planned for tonight, and I put out a poll earlier on my channel asking people what sort of content they wanted to see from me, and a subscriber by the name of Lacuna said that they, wanted to see the personal video I had planned, where I kind of talk about, I don't know, where I've been, what I've been up to, and what things are going on, what things are like right now for me in the general goings on. So that's what we're doing here. I'm gonna just be no notes, talking about just whatever. Hope you guys like my stream display. I am Mustache Guts now instead of MAGA Ash Ketchum, so thought I needed to update it. I don't think I'm going to be streaming for very long. I don't think many people are going to get notified for this. I have a feeling that my channel has been, maybe not shadow banned, but definitely put some kind of brakes on Or maybe I'm just a dead channel. Either way, I don't think many people are going to be watching this. More people tune in for my edited videos, which is fine. I am the same way. I don't watch a lot of live streams anymore, and when I do, I'm not usually there for that long. But we're gonna be talking about some stuff. I'm just kind of not really getting into it yet. I don't think I have more than just one person in the chat. But Crooked Tuna, if you I don't know, have anything you wanna ask me about? I don't really have anything I'm holding back. I've been gone for YouTube for like a year, 2 years since I was really like making content. I was gonna talk about like why I stopped doing the Days of Lot sermons with Leo. Not that I don't believe in any of the stuff I was saying on there anymore. I just I thought I was being kind of hypocritical because I had a lot of stuff in my personal life. You know, you could say logs in my eye when I'm trying to take the moat out of other people's, I felt like, so I decided I needed to stop doing that and kind of focus more on me and what I was, you know, my personal relationship with God and Jesus. And that's what I've been doing. It's not been perfect, but that's what I've been doing. I started this channel back in 2017, 2018, something like that. I don't really remember. I could look it up. Let me do that, I guess. But I made it to talk about politics and, like, I don't know, magapede type stuff. I was more of a libertarian then. Yeah, joined January 20th, 2018, so like 2017, 2018, right around there. I wanted to talk about libertarian ideas and stuff like that way back when. And I don't know, made a few videos in that vein, but I've always been I don't know, into some of the edgier channels on YouTube, I guess you could say, like Medicare and I don't know, a lot of people that have fallen off, but I don't know, I've always had a foot in that world, and when IBS started, I was right there. I thought it was really cool. Oh, it's so cringy to say now. But yeah, no, I did. I thought it was really cool. And when BYBS started, I was there for like every week when it was starting out, and even was on the show a few times if anyone remembers that. But I never really had a big audience in this community. I think like more people watched Heel Turn and I don't know, just BYBS proper and any of like Jeff Staney and AnCap's streams that they would do instead of watching me whenever I was doing stuff. And that's fine. I don't have any like I'm not salty about that. I didn't have as much to say back then as they did. That's just honesty. I always felt like I was a brainlet compared to like Jeff and even AnCap sometimes, which is really embarrassing, but I'd have to like look stuff up after the stream and like red pill myself on some of the stuff they were talking about. But I think that's healthy. I think that was good for me to do. Um, that's just why I never really contributed as much as other people. When I start live streaming, I get nervous. I'm a very anxious person just naturally. So even starting this stream, I was like, oh geez, man, oh geez, Rick, what am I gonna do? It's all been pretty fine though. I had a I don't know a epiphany a few months ago when I was watching all of the Nick Fuentes and Ralph drama that's been going on. That I don't know, even if I do get doxxed or if I whatever, nothing about my life is nearly as embarrassing as theirs. So I don't know, I'm fine. I can go back and make content. Heck, I'll even do a face reveal because screw it. I like the idea of being a YouTuber, a small YouTuber even, that talks about niche subjects and has a live stream that I can put on whenever I feel like talking about stuff. Because there's a lot of times when I'm talking to my friends, the few that I still have at this point, I don't get the chance to talk about what I'm really thinking about. with my parents, it's better because they're Christian and I get to actually like discuss verses and talk about what's going on, but they don't believe the same things I do, which again is fine. People have their free will for a reason, and there is a truth out there to everything, but people can come to it however they come to it. That's not for me to judge. Um, by the way, Crooked Tuna, are you still in the chat? Or are you just listening to me ramble, or is this just me? I see like one concurrent viewer, but I think that might just be me in the live stream chat myself. I don't know. I don't really care. Like I said, this whole live stream idea came out of nowhere. It was very unexpected. Just figured if anyone wanted to, I don't know, hang out with me going into this next Sabbath, well, I don't know, I wanted to put on a good stream for them and just talk about whatever. I don't know, I didn't expect when I started uploading videos again last month that many people would still be around on my channel watching. I knew that. You know, I wanted to have my channel be way more consistent than it ended up being. Anonymous or someone else? I don't know what you mean by that. Can you elaborate? Or someone else. Oh, as in you. You're watching. Gotcha, gotcha. See, I'm stupid. I don't even catch obvious statements like that sometimes. Might just be my autism. Who knows? Um, but yeah, no, this last 2 years, year and a half, however long it's been since I've been like, I uploaded a video about Miura, Kentaro Miura passing, the author for Berserk. Funny enough, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm kind of a big Berserk fan, but I uploaded that video. It had like 70 something views, I think. Let me see. Had not a lot of views. I know that. Like 132. Okay, cool. And that was a year ago. Before that, I made the videos about Nick Fuentes. Before that, I made the Rise and Fall of BYBS video. And during that time, there were some Days of Lot sermons I did with Leo. And like I mentioned earlier, I felt like a pretty big hypocrite on some of those streams just from some of the stuff I was still doing in my private life. Some of the stuff I am still doing in my private life that I just feel like makes me a hypocrite talking about religion on the internet. And the song I played as the intro to the stream, I'm not a preacher. I'm not no preacher man. I'm no preacher man's son. I like to have some fun. I've done some bad things. Blah 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 blah. You know. I don't want to be a YouTube pastor, but I do want to talk about the Bible and try to spread the word of God. But I have such a weird relationship with churches since I've been listening to, I don't know, Seventh-day Adventist pastors and reading Ellen White and really trying to do more Bible studies on my own. I have found it almost more intolerable, if that's possible, to be in a church than I did when I was younger. And the thing is, I see the good in it. Obviously, I see that all these, you know, all these people are going to church and not, you know, doing a bunch of stuff that they could be doing instead of going to church, and that they're believing in something that ultimately is probably better than what a lot of people believe in, but I still see all of the flaws in it, and that's not to say that it's not valuable. Like I said in my video about Charlie and Nakey Jakey, like Asman went to a Roman Catholic church when his mom was dying, and I think that's really cool of him. But does that make me believe that the Roman Catholic Church is good? No. They're still very much like I don't know, the office of the Antichrist. And I had an idea for something that I could do for a stream tonight when I was thinking of what I could do, what I could put together. I have a Nader Mansour sermon open in a tab. We could play that and listen to that. It's like an hour long, but I'm down if anyone wants to listen to it. It's like I said, an hour long. Pretty good sermon. Pretty good sermon. Talks about the Trinity gods of Babylon. If you've seen any of the Days of Lot sermons, you know that's a pretty big thing that we hit on a lot. But if not, I kind of just wanted to, I don't know, talk about my life and more personal stuff as far as what I've been up to this last year. Um, well, let me preface this by getting into a little bit more of like my past, I guess. So I am I'm in my late 20s, I'll say that. Uh, I used to be a lot more just I don't know, worldly. I don't really want to put like a political label on it, but I was definitely like more of a leftist when I was younger. But I grew out of that pretty quick when I found out about like Ron Paul. And that was like when I was probably like 13, 14. So like I had like 1 or 2 years where I was like, oh yeah, liberals, Barack Obama, he seems cool, but I didn't really stay with that for very long. Probably has a lot to do with my parents. They were very conservative Christian types, baby boomers. And so they, I don't know, raised me to kind of think like that. And I accepted a bit of that, but I also rebelled against a bit of that. Fast forward to me being 18. I have, oh no, started smoking weed a lot. I smoke cigarettes. My girlfriend at the time is someone that my parents despise and who, you know, pretty rightfully so, looking at how things turned out with her. I am friends with a lot of like the term now is wooks, just complete drug addicted idiots that are into like new age spirituality and all that sort of stuff. Like just want to be hippies, really. Not a very good social group. But I I wanted to find some kind of truth about something, and there was such a obvious what's the word, double standard, but that's not it, contradiction, that's probably it, in the churches that my parents would take me to when I was younger. And so I fell out of that at a pretty young age. Um, for like me personally, but I kept going there for a while up through like high school. I was in youth groups and all this sort of stuff, but I was never really that invested in taking them seriously. By the time I am in college, I'm just a complete degenerate by my own standards now. I was, I don't know, dating several girls at once and doing all sorts of different drugs. And I wanted to, let me think. This is the problem. Like when I was making that video before, there were so many pauses that I had to cut out from the final version of it. I'm so bad at just talking without a script, but let me go on a quick little tangent, and I'll hopefully get back to that point. I remember one of the episodes of BYBS. Jeff Sinney was talking about Joaquin, and he was calling him such a trad Chad or something like that. Humble brag stream? No, I what, me saying that I was dating several girls? That's not. Look, man, I didn't have sex for like 5 years. I was like trying to. Not a humble brag. Um, I was the kind of girls I was dating at that time were not desirable partners. Um, my point is that like people have gotten a long way from where they were supposed to be in not just this country but just in general. Like, when the Bible talks about God has a plan for everyone, that's true. That's true in this world, and that's also true in, like, Eden, if that makes sense. Like, if Adam had never sinned, this world would be so much different. Do you realize that? Like, there wouldn't be so many of the problems, any of the problems that we have, and your life would be completely different, and that's the life that God initially intended for everyone to have. I don't believe in, alternate dimensions or anything like that, but like, let's say there's a timeline out there where you're living in Eden still. That's like God's initial will for your life. And what I'm saying is that even though I was so far from that a few years ago, um, since I found out the truth about the gospel, I feel like I'm a lot closer to where I should be. And not only just am I, and that's not really the point. The point is that I want to be, you know, like, uh, our righteousness is like filthy rags. And when, like, it's the Sabbath now, and like I went and got some food before the sun went down, before stores closed, so I could not have to go do that tomorrow and break the Sabbath. But like, and like for a second I was like proud of myself, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm being such a good Seventh Day Adventist. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But I had to realize that, like, yeah, but like even if I didn't, I could still ask for forgiveness, and I should probably still like not be so proud of myself for that, because it's not like through me keeping the Sabbath, keeping this commandment, that I'm saved. I don't know. I hope that explains. I'm not trying to like humble brag. And if it came across that way, I'm sorry. I know the thing is, I am aware that a lot of my audience has like very extremist political points of view, and not that I don't, but I don't really care about my political opinions anymore, because this whole world is going to burn. This whole world is going to end, and heaven is going to be here. And that's what I'm focused on now. So, like, I don't know, my dad always talks about, like, oh, we have to support this politician. We have to, like, my dad's very involved in the culture wars still. And bless his heart for that, man. He's really trying. But I try to talk to him about how, like, yeah, the more I see this country head down the drain, the more I just kind of believe in the Bible, because this is what it's been saying, that it's gonna head this way. Oh, you're all good, anonymous. Like I said, I get anxious when I stream, so I don't know. That's on me. You're good. I know that you're not really whatever. Um. Anyway, I've been trying to talk about like what's been going on, why I've been gone. Long story short, just to cut to the chase, one of my best friends, um, who I'm pretty sure you're gonna eventually see like on this channel. I have like an idea of talking about uh, just stuff with him while we're playing video games on stream sometimes. I don't want to say his name. I don't know what his idea for, I don't know, his channel, if he's just gonna use his name or anything. But I'll just call him Billy for now. He and his baby mama, he has 3 kids. He's a year younger than I am, which terrifies me, just for like, how? Oh no, man. And I've known this guy for like 10 years, and he's a good dad. He's a really good dude. He's my best friend for a reason. But oh man, there's some things I I'm not supposed to, but there are some things I envy about him. Like, he's very free in a lot of his, I don't know, ways he deals with things. And part of that, I think, is just because he's deceived in some things. We've talked about religion a bunch, and he doesn't agree with me, but I've been trying to reach him for the last like 2 years about stuff. Anyway, him and his baby mama split, and he got kicked out of the house that they bought together, and he didn't have a place to stay, so he's been sleeping on my couch for the last like, well, he's out now. Him and some other buddies of his have an apartment, and that's good. He's doing a lot better. He's saving up money to get a car again, doing much better. Um, During that time, I had a girlfriend that I had been dating for 2 years or so, like off and on, honestly, during the course of my channel, and we broke up, and I took it pretty rough. Um, I went out and I don't know, had a few just hookup experiences that not really, again, I'm not like proud of that. I'm just being honest about like why I've been gone. I would have felt like such a hypocrite like coming back from doing that and being like, all right, yeah, let me get on my Baroness Thompson account and talk about the Bible. Let's go, everyone. Let me hit up Leo Pirate and do a Days of Lot sermon. And I don't know, the guilt I had of being the kind of person that would do a Days of Lot sermon and then go and turn my back and do the kinds of things that I did made it so that I just didn't want to come back to YouTube for a while. I felt like I just let myself down in that aspect. Not that I don't know. I think there's a lot of people on my channel that would have cared about that, but I don't really know if that's a real thing or if that's just something I'm projecting onto you guys. Um, anyway, yeah, things have been weird the last year or two. I've been reading a lot of manga, I've been reading a lot of fantasy books. I want to write a fantasy book. That's what I've been working on a lot besides just my YouTube videos like I used to. Yeah, Jack Randy. Politics are irrelevant and out of our control. I agree. They're very gay. I I mean, just look at what the new conservative movement looks like. The America First movement, the fringe political streams online. Like it's just it's the most bottom of the garbage bin type of content you can imagine. And I don't really, I have takes, I have some political takes on whatever, but again, they're irrelevant because if I were to have an influence on this country, in my worldview, that means I've sold my soul. So no thanks. I'll just watch it burn. That's fine. I never really cared that much about this country anyway. I consider myself way more of a, I don't know, the way you define yourself, the sorts of identities that you adapt or adopt rather. I I don't know. I feel like most people, if your identity isn't, oh, I'm a Christian, well, that's probably not good. But if your identity is I'm an American, oh, that's even worse. That's probably even worse than just not being a Christian because you're all tangled up in the outcome for this nation. What's up, SMG? Glad you could be here. We're not really doing anything important, just kind of I don't know, I'm just talking, kind of like what you do on your streams. Just I don't have any friends with me. That'll change. My buddy that I've been talking about a little bit is at work right now, um, and he's starting a Twitch stream, and he's gonna play like Elden Ring and fighting games and stuff like that. I want to like dual stream with him, and we'll just talk about whatever. I think that would be decent content for when I don't have a video out or a video about to drop that week. Um, Cringe patriotism. Exactly. It's very cringe, dude. And like, there's if you believe the Bible, there's only been one nation that is of God, and that's Israel. And it didn't really turn out that well. It had a point to spread the gospel and spread knowledge of God. They were called to be a kingdom of priests, right? But they didn't do that. Um, and you could say that the like Celtic tribes, the European tribes that turned into the European nations that adopted the Bible and spread it, more. That had a purpose, but I still wouldn't call any of those nations like nations of God. England had the King James Bible, and America is this Protestant nation. But America is talked about in the Bible. It's the beast with lamb-like horns that looks like a lamb but speaks like a dragon. That's pretty spot on. Oh, that's scary. Oh no. So yeah, I don't really care about the fate of this nation as far as like my influence on it. I hope that if I have anyone that's listening to me, that they read the Bible and do that instead of voting for whoever, because that's not really going to matter. I don't know. I don't like to say that either, because like maybe it does matter. Maybe I am wrong about that. I just don't think it's good to be as involved as a lot of people are. But like if there's a politician that is going to preserve some kind of you could say like providence or grace in this country, that might be a good thing to vote for. I don't really care about. I mean, of course you do. That's not really a shocker, SMG. I don't know. I don't know. Like I have these political takes, but I don't really care about them. And I also know that I'd probably like lose debates if I were to talk about them. I know what I can win debates when I talk about, and that's the Bible. And that I guess shouldn't be my point. My goal is to just win debates. It should be to uh, bring people to God. But the best way I know how to do that is by debating pastors and uploading the videos on YouTube. Which, by the way, I'm trying to do another one of. There's a local pastor. My parents changed churches. I don't know if any of you remember the video I uploaded of me debating the pastor of my parents' church that they went to, but they stopped going there, surprisingly enough. Um, they were going to a new church, which, from what I've gathered, is better. I still wouldn't. I still don't agree with them. They still celebrate Christmas and Easter and Sunday worship and all these things, and probably do mission trips to Israel to support them as well. But I've been meeting with the junior pastor for this church, and he seems like a good guy. And I talked to him about like how I think that you're not saved by denomination, right? You're saved by just Jesus and His grace. Like there's people in Roman Catholic churches, there's people in Orthodox churches, there's people everywhere that are going to be saved. Um, I personally believe that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is the closest that I currently know of to what the Scripture says, and I think that matters for a lot of reasons to be as close. But I don't think that the people that um, go to Catholic churches, if they are genuinely trying to worship God in those churches, one, I think they'll hopefully come out of them, or two, you know, maybe not, but maybe it won't matter as much. There's a verse that I love that says that God winks at their ignorance, right? And if you're truly ignorant of what you're doing wrong, I don't think God would hold that against you. But that's the thing. Like I'm not the judge. Judge not that ye not be judged, right? And I've thought a lot about that because a lot of my content, definitely you could say I was judging people. But I don't know, that's why my appeal video to Charlie is very different than that. I made a point to say that I want to do it different than that. I have bigger points I want to make just than calling people gay. As fun as that is. And as gay as some people are. But, you know, if there is a gay person that you were hypothetically trying to reach with the gospel, you wouldn't really do it by calling them gay. You do it by like saying like, hey, Jesus, he hung out with whores and tax collectors and all this sort of stuff. So like he still loves you. That's hard for people to do when there's gay pride flags everywhere and they're running around saying, oh, Satan loves us because we're gay. Yeah, he does. It's actually terrifying. You maybe shouldn't be as proud of that, but you're still supposed to love the sinner and not the sin. And it's hard. It's a constant struggle of mine because there's a lot of things I am angry about in this world, and it feels very difficult to just lay them before God instead of me getting up in arms about them and wanting to, I don't know, convince people that I'm right or whatever. Uh, I've gotten off track, which is no surprise, but I see that red triangle is in the chat. I'm so glad that like I remember you guys from like back in the day, back in the BYBS days. Like there's been like this core of people that have stayed around my channel, and it's very cool. I'm glad that I like it's not just I don't know random user 84 that's commenting and saying whatever. I'm glad that I actually like, know that you guys have been like sticking around to hear what I have to say every now and then. It's very cool. I I hope more people go to heaven than I believe do, but there's also verses that talk about the wide gate that leads to destruction, right? So I honestly believe it's going to be like at least less than half of all of people. I don't know by how much, but that seems to be the way that verse sounds. You probably don't remember me due to me being banned like 20 times. What was one of your old usernames? I'll probably remember that. I don't know, I read a lot of my comments, and if people are new subscribers and they comment, I'll usually like put it together. It's like, oh hey, that person, nice. What was I talking about? Bible stuff, probably. Oh yeah, no, I've been trying to not debate, but just talk to the pastor at this local church, and my line I'm going to try to go with is going to be asking him if he thinks that so most Christians will agree with you that Satan is the god of this world if they're the kind of Christian that believes in Satan at all, which is not a lot, unfortunately, but hey, you gotta work with what you got. If he believes that Satan is the god of this world, and that he when Jesus was in the wilderness and Satan offered him all the kingdoms of the world if he would just bow down and worship him, if that's something that was actually in his right to give Jesus if he were to, you know, uh, bow down, then isn't it the case that most of the people in places of power in the world may have been offered that same deal? Maybe not knowing, but maybe even knowing in some cases, and that's why they're in these positions of power. You could look at the famous leaked email from Hillary Clinton. Let me sacrifice a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. Oh, I'm sure she's just joking. Yeah, no. She doesn't believe in Moloch and sacrificing chickens to deities. No, no, no. It's a sick world we live in, man. Anyway, if that's the case, then wouldn't it matter even more so? Like that's why God has his people be like called to be set apart, because it's so easy to be wrapped up in this world and all of the goings on of it, right? Goings on in it, rather, I should say. And if that's the case, then Easter and Christmas and all these things that most pastors again would know are pagan holidays. Hold on. I would make random burners. Went by Vang Elliot Roger. I remember Elliot Roger. Yep. Okay. Robbie Pilkington. Daddy No. Don Restle. Okay. Yeah. I remember you. Glad to see you back around, my dude. Um, it's important. Again, not that Christians can't be saved if they're doing these things and if they don't recognize these things. That's why we're gonna have 1,000 years in heaven before the judgment happens to like go back over these things. It's like gonna be a review. Jesus and God's like, all right, this is what happened. This is why. This is what it all actually means. Get everyone on the same page, right? And so I don't. When I talk to Leo off stream, like we talk a lot still, and he gave me this metaphor that accepting that Jesus is the Son of God, that's like the trunk of the tree, and that's all that really matters. That's what you have to do. And all this stuff about Saturday worship versus Sunday worship and Easter and Christmas, it's important, but it's kind of like getting off into the branches, right? It's you really don't need to know that. Now, I still think it's important because people will be deceived in the last days. It's going to be a time of trouble like there never was since there was a nation, right? And so all of these deceptions are going to, I don't know, people are going to fall for them. People are going to make horrible mistakes and maybe not make mistakes to the point where they won't be saved anymore, but I mean still, you could, I imagine that the way it works is that the more knowledge of God that you have, the closer you are, the better equipped you are to spread His message and do His will, let His Spirit work through you, right? And if you have less knowledge and less light, less of His Spirit in you, then you can't do as much of the work that was given to you. Not that you have to be saved again. Like I believe that there's people on their deathbed that can accept Jesus. It's not as, I don't know, not as solid in my mind, but uh, I imagine that God's grace does go that far. I remember getting into a debate with my professor over why the Jews are no longer the chosen ones. Thanks, Daisy. yeah, that's yeah, man. Look, they we can talk about the Jews, but I don't. Why would you? I feel like most people are on the same page about that now, or they're not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like if you're listening to this stream, you're probably on the same page about it. It's crazy though, right? It's wild. um, I don't know. It matters though. Why? Yeah. If you're the type of Christian that believes that the Jews are God's chosen people, you're probably still going to heaven if you genuinely believe that, but that God's Son died for your sins. Like that's probably still fine. It's better if you don't, because then you're not going to be giving money to Israel to go have like all the stuff that they're doing, right? But you're still, it's still an honest mistake. It's still ignorance that God's going to wink at. But there, we should try to undo as much of that as possible. I don't know, you have to be careful when you get into debates about this stuff, because if you go with the angle of like, oh, if you don't worship on Saturday, you're going to hell. You're not really right. And so it's not really the angle to use. I want to give as much ground that is genuine that I can to people I'm debating with about these sorts of things, because they'll see I'm not just, I don't know, some hateful conspiracy theorist that thinks that that just wants to like beat them over the head with the Bible. There's a lot of people like that, and it doesn't really work. It works sometimes to get people that are already members of a church to stop doing things wrong. I'm not saying it doesn't have its place, like the fire and brimstone type preaching. Like Jesus himself warned against hell, and the apostles wrote letters to churches to like chastise them and get them to stop doing things wrong. So it is important to do that. But if you're trying to, it just depends on what your goals are, what you're being called to do at the moment. Um, I don't know. I've rambled for a while now. It's been like 40 minutes. I wanted to talk about, I don't know, my book, if anyone cared to listen to that, but I might just have that be something for later. I'm writing a fantasy book. It's going to be kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia, but again, hopefully more biblically accurate, because he had Santa in there and stuff like that. It's kind of strange. I think they're good books, though. I think Lord of the Rings, they're better books, but not as good messaging, because Tolkien was a Catholic, so ooh. The Wheel of Time is I believe it's the longest fantasy series ever written. It's like 14 books plus a sequel or a prequel novel. It's insanely long, and it talks about, like, the creator and the light versus the dark and stuff like that. And so it has a lot of good messaging in there, but I don't I think people can still enjoy the Wheel of Time and not really take anything away from it, which is I don't know, it's fine. You can just entertainment's entertainment to people sometimes, but I always look at stories with a little bit of a deeper uh, lens. Like, that's why I want to do my One Piece review, because I love One Piece. It's such a good manga. It's one of the best manga series out there, but it's so sinister in what the actual morals it's teaching are. It's I don't know if anyone's caught up with One Piece in my chat. That's quite a commitment. But it's getting into some weird territory right now in the manga, for sure. And you could just look at it from surface level. Oh, pirates, they're rebelling, right? But, like, it's complicated. I want to do an analysis video about that. I want to do a intellectual dark web revisited. I got a community guideline strike for my video about the Weinstein brothers because I called them gay, and YouTube said that that's hate speech. And they're not wrong, but I still thought that was a really good video, so I want to, like, remake them. Just maybe make them a little less edgy. I don't know, man. I might not. It's lot of a lot of crappy interviews and podcasts I have to sit through to make those kinds of videos, and I don't really care to do that anymore. I just think the points I was making, I could make better points now. Anyway, I might do streams like this more often. Like I said, my friend Billy is gonna be making a, like, Twitch stream or something like that soon. I'm gonna try to get him on the channel. We have really good conversations. I feel like I might like record one and make it into an edited video, or I might just stream us talking. I'm not really sure. I'll have to ask him and see what he would be more comfortable with or whatever. He doesn't really care. He's like me at this point. Like, any of his personal information gets out there, I don't think he would really care that much. I don't know, anything that I've told you guys in the past that you might, like, think, like, yeah, I live in Florida, I'm white trash, 20-something, it's pretty much all there. If any of you were to find my Facebook, you'd be like, oh yeah, he's pretty much what he said. It's crazy. So, I don't know. Things are weird. Making content in 2022 is weird. Seeing the demise of the little backyard blood sports community I've been involved in it's been weird. I look back on my content, and it's so funny that I kind of called all these big people falling. My first video that I made about, like, any E-celeb drama was about Baked Alaska, and man, he's having an even worse time now. Then I made one just about the BYBS stuff, about, like, Tonka and Jim and Ralph and all that sort of stuff, and yeah, they've gone down the toilet. Then I made one about Nick Fuentes, and oh geez, things are looking bad for old Nicky boy. But I don't know. It's easy to poke fun at people. It's hard to convince people to believe in something. I want to do a little bit more of the second one. Maybe still poke some fun at people, but a little bit less so. I think I only saw the first 10 episodes of One Piece and ended up getting sidetracked to do the video. Yeah, it's cringy. One Piece is very cringy. I'll say that off the top. It's very silly and goofy, and not a lot of people like that. But I don't know. I'm a Discworld fan. If any of you know what Discworld is, the novel series by Terry Pratchett, it's hilarious. It's awful. Again, like, I might do an analysis video about those books. They have one of the books is called Small Gods. It's like his religious critique. It's scathing. It's pretty much all incorrect. There's some good points he makes about just like how corrupt organized religion can be, but his worldview that he puts out in the View is, I don't know, very flawed. He's a very good writer though, amazing author. Um, One Piece is a lot like that. It's absurdist fantasy, so nothing really follows any normal world laws. Like Luffy drank a glass of milk and one of his teeth grew back instantly. So this shit like that happens all the time. Very goofy, very silly. But it's also a story about genocide and slavery and oppression and a conspiracy theory spanning 800 years. So it gets pretty intense in some cases. Um, it's all sun worship though. Spoilers for my video. It's all sun worship, and I'm sure you guys remember the verses from Ezekiel of, you know, the elders in the temple in Jerusalem that the prophet Ezekiel had visions of that were worshiping the sun. Oh no. So I mean, it's a whole thing. We'll get into it in that video whenever I make that. I want to make a video about Charlie specifically, Nakey Jakey specifically, and Asmongold specifically first. So we'll get to that when we get to that. Expect some more live streams, expect more weird music videos whenever I make those. And yeah, pray to the east and worship the sun. Exactly. I think I'm gonna call it there for this stream. Let me get a outro video lined up real quick here. And yeah, I will see you guys around for the next one.
Please, Heavenly Father, guide us and teach us through your Son, Jesus Christ. In his name we pray. Amen.
Fuck you if you love a car for its paint job. Love you, you love a car for the road trips. Show me the miles on your arms and the pink scar where the doctor had to pull out all the bone chips cause you were pressing in the gas just a bit hard. Right in the moment when the road curved a bit sharp, and when you woke up somebody wasn't clipping your seatbelt and pulling you from the open window of your flipped car. Cold pizza, tie-dye shirts, broken hearts. Give them here, give them here. Hand-me-downs, gimme leftovers. Gimme sloppy seconds. Give them here, give them here. I don't care where you've been, how many miles, I still love you. I don't care where you've been, how many miles, I still love you. Show me someone who says they got no baggage. I'll show you somebody who's got no story. Nothing gory means no glory, but baby, please don't bore me. We won't know until we get there. The who, or the what, or the when, where. My favorite sweater was a present that I got a couple presidents ago, and I promised that I will rock it till it's threadbare. Bet on it. Every single person's got a couple skeletons, so pretty soon in this room it'll just be me and you when we clear out all the elephants. Me and you and the elements. We all have our pitfalls. Beer is flat, the cabs have been called, and everybody and their mama can hear the drama that's happening behind these thin walls. Cold pizza, tie-dye shirts, broken hearts. Give them here, give them here. Hand-me-downs, leftovers, sloppy seconds. Give them here, give them here. I don't care where you've been, how many miles, I still love you. I don't care where you've been, how many miles, I still love you. I don't care cold pizza, where you've been, tie-dye shirts, how many miles, I still love you.
Dearest Father and Almighty Creator, we ask for your grace tonight, despite our pride, your forgiveness, despite our doubt. Most of all, Lord, we ask for your love to soothe us through these dark times. May we face whatever is to come in your divine will with courage and open hearts of acceptance. Amen.